Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Ever looked at a penny and thought, this tiny little coin might actually be worth a fortune? Well, brace yourselves, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of a specific penny that could be sitting in your pocket right now, worth a whopping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.2 million. I'm talking about the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. And now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? That can't possibly be true. But stick with me, because I'm about to take you on a wild ride through the history, the value, and the crazy stories surrounding this little copper coin. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's see if you've got a millionaire maker hanging out in your spare change jar. Alright, first things first, let's break down why this penny is worth more than the average coin you find lying around. The 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just any penny. In fact, it stands out from the crowd because of a few rare details. Typically, coins are stamped with a mint mark to show where they were made, like the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But, in 1988, some pennies didn't have that mint mark. You see, the mint in Philadelphia was responsible for producing most pennies that year, but a handful slipped through without that crucial stamp, and here's where it gets interesting. These no-mint mark coins are considered errors or anomalies, like that one time I tried to make a pizza and accidentally burned it to a crisp. Don't ask, it's a tragic story. But back to the penny. These minting errors make the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny a hot commodity among collectors, and as time went on, the value started to climb and climb and climb some more. We're talking about a market value of $1.2 million if you've got one in mint condition. Now, I know what you're thinking again, wait a second, how do I even know if I've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Great question, and don't worry, I've got you covered. Step 1, grab that magnifying glass and inspect the coin closely. What you're looking for is the absence of any mint mark. If you see a blank spot where the mint mark should be, congratulations. You might be holding a treasure, but before you get too excited, let's talk about the condition of your penny. A coin's value isn't just about rarity, condition is everything. Think about it like this: if you're trying to sell an old baseball card, a mint condition card could sell for hundreds of dollars, but a bent, worn-out card? Not so much. The 1988 no-mint mark penny that's worth $1.2 million is in mint condition. We're talking about a coin that looks like it just rolled out of the US Mint with no scratches, no wear and tear, and that perfect, shiny finish. Finding a penny in that condition is like stumbling across a unicorn in your backyard. But here's a fun story from my own personal experience. I once found a bunch of pennies in a change jar, like, literally a whole jar of them. I thought I'd hit the jackpot, so I started sorting them out, expecting to find all sorts of rare, valuable coins. You know what I found? Mostly 2000s-era pennies and a few corroded ones. And maybe a couple with some quirky minting errors that I couldn't even identify. Nothing close to $1 million coin. But the moral of the story is that while it's easy to get excited, the real gems are rare, and if you find one, you'll know it's something special. So, if you happen to come across one of these 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies in great condition, the value can skyrocket to $1.2 million. And that's not just a theoretical number, there have been real-life examples of these pennies being sold for eye-watering sums. You could be holding onto a literal goldmine. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up with a couple of quick tips. If you want to get into coin collecting or just want to keep an eye out for rare finds like the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, start by checking your change jar. It's like treasure hunting, but without the need for a map or a pirate hat, though honestly, a pirate hat would make it more fun. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about looking for rare pennies. There's a whole world of valuable coins out there, and I'll be here to help you spot them. So if you want more tips, strategies, and maybe even a few more stories about how I once thought I was holding onto a rare coin but was just holding a piece of metal from my kid's art project, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more exciting content coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Hey, coin collectors! You ever find a penny in your couch cushions, or maybe one just hanging out in your pocket, and think, it's just a penny, right? Well, what if I told you that there are pennies worth millions of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. One penny, in particular, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, could be worth around $1.3 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, how the heck does a penny end up being worth that much? Stick around, and I'll explain it all to you. From why this specific penny is so valuable to how you can find and maybe even cash in on one yourself. And hey, if you like this sort of treasure hunt, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins and how to spot them. Trust me, this is one rabbit hole you want to go down. Alright, so let's talk about this 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. First things first, if you're picturing a regular, run-of-the-mill penny, just hold up. The regular old 1978 penny, produced by the US Mint, is worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1978 pennies are created equal now. If you look at your standard 1978 penny, you might notice it has the mint mark on it, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the one we're talking about, the one worth over $1 million, doesn't have a mint mark at all. That's right, it's missing that little D or S, which is what makes it so rare. See, the US Mint was supposed to stamp a mint mark on all pennies in 1978, but a handful of them slipped through the cracks without it. And when you have something that rare, people start to get really interested, and now, you might be wondering, why is this so valuable? Well, rarity equals value, my friend. Only a few of these mint markless pennies made it into circulation. And as with anything rare, whether it's art, collectibles, or even a limited edition action figure, people will pay top dollar for something they can't get anywhere else. And if you're thinking, well, how do I know if I've got one? Good question. You'll need to look carefully at the coin. First off, check the date, 1978. Then, flip it over and look at the reverse side. If there's no mint mark anywhere near the bottom, you've got yourself a gem. But don't just go pulling pennies out of your pocket and assuming they're worth a fortune. Make sure to take a good, close look, because many people think they've found a rare coin, only to discover it's just a regular one. And, just for a little fun fact here, this isn't the first time a missing mint mark has caused a stir. There are similar stories about other years where errors like this have led to incredible finds. One of my personal favorites is a 1943 copper penny that's worth nearly $1 million. But I digress. Back to the 1978 no mint mark penny. So, now that you know what makes it special, let's talk about how much these bad boys are actually worth. Currently, a well-preserved 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny could fetch you around $1.3 million at auction. Sounds like a lot for a little copper coin, right? But hey, if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be set for life, or at least have a really nice down payment on a house. Just imagine telling your friends, oh yeah, I found this penny in my change. Now I'm basically a millionaire. Pretty cool, right? Now, a quick tip for all you penny hunters out there, it's not just about finding rare coins. It's also about knowing how to spot them, how to care for them, and how to get them in front of the right people, coin collectors, experts, or auction houses. You can't just find a rare coin and toss it in a drawer. If you're serious about selling, get it appraised, grade it properly, and make sure you're getting the best price. And before I forget, let's not skip over something super important: condition matters. A penny with a missing mint mark in mint condition is worth far more than a scratched up one that's been through the ringer. So, if you find one, treat it like it's made of gold, or at least like it's a little piece of history. Store it in a protective case and keep it safe until you're ready to sell or add it to your collection. So there you have it. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, an unlikely little coin that could make you a millionaire if you're lucky enough to find it. I mean, who would have thought that a simple penny could be worth so much, right? It just goes to show you that sometimes, even the smallest things can make the biggest difference. And hey, don't just stop here. If you want more tips and tricks on how to find coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Trust me, there's a whole world of rare coins out there waiting for you to discover. Who knows? The next big find could be yours. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. So, you're sitting on a pile of change, minding your own business, when you hear the word valuable penny. Suddenly, you're wide-eyed and scanning your pockets for any hidden treasure, right? Well, today, I've got a story for you that could make your penny jar worth a lot more than you think now. I know what you're probably thinking: penny? Worth $1 million? Sounds like a fairy tale. But stick with me. Today, we're diving into the 1969 D Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that's not only got historical significance but might also make your wallet a lot heavier, like $1.4 million heavier. Yes, really. So, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll know everything about this coin, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start looking at your change a little differently. Alright, let's kick things off by understanding why the 1969 Lincoln penny is so special. Now, we've all seen a penny. Heck, we probably toss them in the trash or let them collect dust on our counters. But that little penny you're holding could be the key to a huge payday if you know what to look for. The 1969 penny was minted in Denver, and like millions of others from that year, it had a routine journey into circulation. But here's the twist: there are very rare versions of this coin with a little quirk that makes them worth an astronomical amount. I'm talking about a double die error. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the penny gets misaligned, causing the details to be printed twice. So, when you look closely, you'll see that the date and other parts of the design are doubled or blurry. This is what sets the 1969 apart from your standard, run-of-the-mill pennies. Now, don't get too excited just yet, you won't find this kind of error on every 1969 penny. In fact, it's estimated that only a handful of these double die error pennies exist in perfect condition, and finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. But when you do, oh boy, the payoff is huge. We're talking about up to $1.4 million, my friends. A few years back, I was at a coin show just browsing, looking for cool stuff to add to my collection. You know, the usual. And as I'm strolling by a table, I see this guy selling a 1969 penny. It looked pretty ordinary. I almost walked away, thinking, it's just another penny. But something made me stop. Maybe it was the sparkle in the vendor's eye or the way he was talking about this coin like it was a hidden treasure. Turns out, this wasn't just any penny, it was a double die error. At that moment, I realized I might have been holding a $1.4 million coin in my hand if the market was right. Long story short, I didn't buy it, because, let's face it, I didn't have $1.4 million at the time, but that day taught me a valuable lesson: never underestimate a penny, especially one with a little extra history. Alright, now that you know these coins exist, let's talk about how you can actually spot one. First off, don't just grab any old 1969 penny and assume it's worth millions. You'll need to look carefully for that distinct doubling effect on the date and lettering. Take a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe if you've got one, and examine the date. Are those numbers looking a little thick? Do they seem to have a shadow or appear to be duplicated? Bingo! You might have a winner, but wait, it's not just about the doubling of the date. You want to check out the mint mark too. If it's doubled, you've got something special. And keep in mind, the coin's condition matters a lot here. A perfect example, in mint condition, can fetch the highest value. You're looking for sharp, crisp details, no wear and tear. So, you found this rare penny. Now what? Well, unless you're planning to build a collection just to impress your friends, which, honestly, sounds fun, you're going to want to sell it. And here's a quick pro tip: always get your rare coins professionally appraised. You'll want a reputable expert to authenticate it, because without that certification, you're probably not going to get top dollar. Look for well-known auction houses or online platforms like Heritage Auctions or even eBay, but don't just throw it on there without doing your homework first. Remember, the value of these coins can fluctuate based on demand, so keep an eye on the market. Also, just because you've got a 1969 penny with some doubling doesn't mean it's automatically worth $1.4 million. Condition is king here. A well-worn, beat-up penny isn't going to make you a millionaire, but a mint condition beauty? That's where the magic happens. So, there you have it. The 1969 Lincoln penny, once just another coin, can be your ticket to some serious cash if you know how to spot the rare double die error. It's a real treasure hunt out there, and with the right knowledge, you can start looking at your change in a whole new way. Before you rush off to check your wallet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be back with more tips on valuable coins, crazy rare finds, and strategies to build your own coin collection that could change your life. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. What if I told you that one of these little guys, a simple 1968 penny, could be worth $1.5 million? No, I'm not kidding. This tiny coin, which you probably have sitting in your change jar, could be worth more than some people's entire retirement savings. Stick around because today, we're diving into how this small penny turned into a big-time treasure and how you can spot the next big coin in your pocket. Hey, what's up everyone? If you're anything like me, you've got a jar of loose coins somewhere in your house. You know, the ones that are just collecting dust until you realize, hey, I wonder if there's something valuable in here? Well, today we're talking about one such coin, the 1968 D Lincoln penny. It may not look like much, but don't let that fool you. We'll talk about why this little penny could make you a millionaire, or at least, help you fund a pretty awesome vacation. So first things first, let's break it down. The 1968 D Lincoln penny isn't special because of its design or minting, but it's all about what's not there. See, what happened back in 1968 was that the US Mint was rolling out pennies like it was no big deal. But some of them got a little messed up, and that's where the magic happens. The secret to this penny's value is in the minting process, or more specifically, a small mistake that happened in 1968 at the Denver Mint. Some of the pennies were struck with a faulty die, which left behind some super rare characteristics. We're talking about things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other imperfections. These are what make a coin more valuable because it's one of a kind, like a rare Pokemon card, but with way more cash attached. And here's the kicker, the 1968 D Lincoln penny we're talking about has been sold for up to $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million. For a coin that, in most cases, is worth just 1 cent. But if you've got the right one, it's like hitting the jackpot without even knowing you were playing the lottery. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these million-dollar pennies? Great question. The key is checking for certain errors or characteristics that were only present on a select few of the 1968 D pennies. If you're lucky enough to have one of these mistakes in your pocket change, you might just have something worth a fortune. Look for things like the doubled die effect, where certain parts of the design are doubled, especially the lettering on Lincoln's chest. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin gets a bit too much wear and creates an overlap. Or maybe you'll spot an off-center strike, where the design is printed on the edge of the coin, making it look like it missed the target by a mile. But don't go thinking you can just grab any random 1968 D penny and call it a day. Oh no, it's a bit more complicated than that. The key is in the condition of the coin as well. It needs to be in excellent, near-perfect shape. That means no major scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no "I've been through the washing machine" kind of damage. I learned this the hard way. You see, I once found what I thought was a rare penny, probably a 1940-something, I wasn't sure. I got all excited, took it to a coin dealer, and he laughed. Not in a mean way, but in that "you just wasted my time" way. He said, "Buddy, this penny's seen better days." Apparently, the penny had been through the ringer, and not in a good way. So trust me, take care of your pennies and check the condition before you get too excited. Anyway, back to the 1968 D penny. If you think you've got one, your next step is to get it evaluated by a professional. Don't just take it to your local grocery store or your cousin who knows a thing or two about coins. Get a certified coin grader to give you the official word. And yes, it costs a bit to get that done, but when it could be worth $1.5 million? Totally worth it. Alright, so now you know why the 1968 D penny could be worth millions, and what to look for in order to spot one in your collection. But here's the deal, finding a rare, valuable penny isn't easy. You've got to know what you're looking for, and most importantly, you've got to have some patience. But hey, if you get lucky and find one of these coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, keep searching those penny jars, people. Now, before you head off to go through all your change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks on finding coins worth big bucks. I'll be sharing everything from rare nickels to high-value dimes, so stay tuned for more. And remember, folks, always check your pockets, because you never know when you'll find the next big thing. Imagine walking into your local coin shop, or maybe rummaging through your old penny jar at home, and you come across a 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny that you never thought twice about. But wait, what if I told you that this penny, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, could actually be worth $1.6 million? Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, it's true. In today's video, we're diving into the insane value of the 2008 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and why this little coin could make you a lot richer than you ever expected. Let's get into it. Okay, so what's all the fuss about the 2008 no mint mark penny? Well, it's not your typical Lincoln penny. The 2008 penny, which was minted as part of the Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial series, is interesting because it lacks a mint mark, something that's usually found right under Lincoln's shoulder on most pennies. Normally, this would be a red flag for collectors, right? But, surprisingly, this penny has become one of the rarest and most valuable in circulation. But why? Here's the scoop. Mint marks are important because they indicate where the coin was made. Usually, pennies come with a mint mark from one of the U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. The 2008 penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but for some odd reason, the Philadelphia Mint decided to release a handful of these babies without it. And, as you can imagine, this little hiccup in production has turned out to be one of the greatest coin blunders in U.S. history. Now, let's talk numbers. A typical 2008 penny, from the same year but with a mint mark, is worth, well, a penny. Not much to get excited about. But the 2008 no mint mark penny is an entirely different animal. It's so rare that collectors are willing to drop a whopping $1.6 million for just one of these coins. Yeah, million with an M. Crazy, right? And that price tag isn't just some one-off, it's the going rate for the right coin in great condition. Now, don't get too excited and start pulling out your coin jar to check every penny you've got. Not every 2008 no mint mark penny is worth that much. The ones that fetch those insane prices are in perfect condition, think like, barely touched by human hands, stored in a safe, with absolutely no wear and tear. We're talking about uncirculated coins here. If your penny looks like it's been through a few road trips in your pocket, it probably won't break any records. But don't lose hope, because even coins in less than perfect condition can still be worth a pretty penny, no pun intended. So, why does a little flaw, like a missing mint mark, make such a big difference? Well, coin collecting is a lot like collecting anything else. The rarer it is, the more valuable it becomes. Imagine if you were collecting vintage comic books, and there was one rare issue with a misprint. Suddenly, that comic book isn't just a comic book, it's a holy grail. The same goes for coins. This penny's rarity, combined with the history behind it, makes it highly sought after by collectors all over the world. But here's the kicker: you might think that finding a rare penny would be impossible, but you'd be wrong. These pennies do pop up, and collectors are still finding them from time to time. So, if you're out hunting for coins, don't just brush off the 2008 pennies. You never know when you'll strike gold, or rather, strike $1 million. You know, it reminds me of the time I was checking out a yard sale and found this old, worn-out book. It looked like a total dud, like something that belonged in the trash. But I took a chance, bought it for $1, and guess what? It turned out to be a first edition of a famous novel. I ended up selling it for $300. Now, I don't recommend you buy every old coin you see, but the point is, sometimes, a little risk can pay off big time. And I bet you, there's someone out there who will tell a story just like that about a 2008 no mint mark penny. So, there you have it, why the 2008 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. But here's the important part: don't let this be a one-time thing. There are plenty of other pennies, nickels, and other coins out there that are worth far more than face value. So, get out there and start looking through your change, hit up some coin shops, and start adding coins to your collection that could one day make you rich. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm here with tips, strategies, and all kinds of fun facts about coins worth money. You won't want to miss out on more hidden gems just waiting for you to discover them. And if you've ever found a rare coin, drop a comment and share your story, I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled, and happy coin hunting! Subscribe for more awesome tips on rare coins and how to turn them into big bucks. Don't forget to like and share the video with your fellow coin collectors. Let's build a community of treasure hunters together. Catch you on the next one. Hey, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Have you ever wondered if that random penny you found in your couch cushions could be worth more than your car? Well, buckle up because today, we're diving into a penny that could potentially make your wallet a whole lot heavier, the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.70 million. Yeah, you heard that right. So, if you're sitting on a pile of pennies right now, keep watching because you might just be holding onto a tiny goldmine. Before we get into the details of how you can find one of these rare gems, let me hit you with a quick story. I was once like you, scrolling through a coin app, thinking, this coin's worth about 1 cent, 5 cents, maybe 10 if I'm lucky, when bam, I came across a penny that sold for $1.7 million. I nearly dropped my phone. It was like I had just stumbled upon a secret that the world had been hiding from me. And that, my friends, is the magic of coin collecting. Alright, let's break it down. What makes the 1977 no-mint mark penny so valuable? For starters, a quick refresher on mint marks. Normally, every penny has a little letter stamped on it, telling you where it was made: Philly, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. But this one doesn't have any mint mark at all. No D, no S, just a blank canvas. Now, you might be thinking, so what? Does that mean I could find one just lying around? And the answer is, well, not exactly. You see, this particular penny is rare, and the absence of a mint mark on a coin from 1977 was a huge surprise to collectors when it first popped up. It's not like every penny from that year was born without a mint mark. In fact, the vast majority of pennies from 1977 had one, making the no mint mark variety an anomaly, an error coin. Imagine going to a party where everyone's wearing the same outfit, but there's that one person who's rocking a totally unique look, and everyone's like, whoa, where'd you get that? That's what the 1977 no mint mark penny is to coin collectors. It's the life of the party and everyone wants to get their hands on it, but here's the kicker: not all 1977 no mint mark pennies are worth $1.7 million. You've got to make sure it's in pristine condition. We're talking about a coin with sharp details, no signs of wear, and minimal discoloration. We're talking about the kind of penny that looks like it just rolled out of a time machine and into your hands. And now, here's where it gets interesting. When it comes to these rare coins, condition is everything. Sure, a 1977 no mint mark penny in rough shape might only get you a couple of bucks, but a well-preserved one can fetch millions. We're talking about the kind of money that could buy you a nice vacation or, a couple of collector-grade cars if you're feeling fancy. And hey, I know what you're thinking. But I've got like 10,000 pennies in a jar at home. Does that mean I'm sitting on a fortune? Well, maybe, but you're also probably sitting on a lot of pennies that are worth next to nothing. That's the hard truth of the coin world. Most pennies are like that leftover soup in the fridge, not worth much but still they're taking up space. But, once in a while, you get a gem that might just be the next big thing. It's like finding that one missing sock you've been searching for 4 years. Now let's get into how you can actually identify if you've got a 1977 no mint mark penny that could make you rich. First off, grab a magnifying glass, or your phone with a zoom lens, and start looking at the reverse side of your penny. You should be looking for a clean, clear absence of the mint mark. If you see a D or S there, well, it's not the coin you're hoping for. Once you've got your hands on a candidate, you also want to inspect the quality of the coin. Check for any wear and tear, like scratches, smudges, or any signs that the coin has been through the ringer. The key here is pristine condition. And trust me, it's worth doing a deep dive and examining each penny because finding something like this is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's a lot of work, I know. But imagine the look on your face when you realize that a simple penny might just pay for your next road trip or maybe even your next house. So, now you know why the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth a whopping $1.7 million, and how to identify one if you've got one lying around in your collection. Pretty mind-blowing, right? If I had $1 for every time someone asked me about valuable coins, I'd probably have enough to buy one of these pennies myself. But here's the thing: coin collecting isn't just about finding that jackpot penny. It's about appreciating the history and stories behind each coin. Every coin tells a story, and each discovery is part of that adventure. So whether you're in it for the money or just the thrill of the hunt, remember, every coin could be the next big find. But hey, if you want more tips on how to spot rare coins, strategies for growing your collection, and all the insider secrets to turning your pennies into treasures, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. And hey, leave a comment below and tell me about your own coin collecting adventures. Have you ever found a rare penny? Let's swap stories. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm about to drop some knowledge that's going to make you look at your spare change a little differently. Imagine this, you're digging through an old jar of pennies, right? You find a random 1967 penny, and you're thinking, just another penny. But hold on, what if that little copper disc is worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.8 million for a penny. Stick around, because today we're diving into why this 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could make you a small fortune. Alright, before you start going through every 1967 penny you have in your collection, let's talk about what makes the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, let's cover the basics. The 1967 penny looks like any other penny from that year. It's got the usual design, Lincoln on the front, and the iconic wheat stalks on the back. But here's the kicker, most of them have a mint mark. You see, most pennies from this year were struck in Philadelphia, but the Philadelphia Mint sometimes forgets to add that little P or D to indicate where they were made. And that's where the magic happens with this particular 1967 penny. It doesn't have that mint mark now. Why is that such a big deal? Well, it turns out that coins without mint marks are pretty rare. In 1967, most coins were made in Philadelphia, but a few slipped through the cracks and were struck without the mint mark. The scarcity of these coins is what makes them so valuable. Here's where things get interesting. The 1967 no mint mark penny is rare enough to fetch $1.8 million at auction. That's a lot of cash for a coin that you could have picked up for just 1 cent in 1967. It's like finding a $20 bill in the couch cushions, but instead of just a few bucks, you're staring at a small fortune. Now, let me hit you with a quick personal story. Trust me, it's going somewhere. When I was a kid, I used to collect coins because I thought it was cool. I mean, how else was I going to have a solid reason to go to the bank and ask for bags of loose change? I didn't know much about coin collecting back then, but I remember picking up some coins that I thought were unique. Fast forward to me in my early 20s, and I'm looking through my old stash, thinking about how I could finally get some cash from all those pennies and nickels. Guess what I didn't find? The 1967 no mint mark penny. I had a bunch of cool stuff, but no $1 million coin. What I learned from that experience? If you're not looking for the right things, you'll miss out. And if you've got a 1967 penny with no mint mark sitting around, well, that might just be the one that changes your financial situation. The moral of the story, always check your coins because you never know what you've got until you take a close look. Let's talk a little bit about how to check whether your 1967 penny is the real deal. You need to look at a few things. First, check the coin for any signs of damage. A coin that's been worn down by circulation won't be worth nearly as much. But if your 1967 penny is in decent shape with no mint mark, you're already ahead of the game. And no, just because it's a bit shinier than usual doesn't mean it's a treasure, sorry to break it to you. But look closely. The more pristine, the better. Also, don't be fooled by people online trying to sell you error coins for outrageous prices. There's a lot of misinformation out there. The true 1967 no mint mark penny that's worth a fortune is incredibly rare. Make sure you're getting it verified by an expert before you start listing it on eBay for $1 million. Now, let's talk about how much these bad boys have gone for. At auctions, we've seen these coins go for some insane prices, with the highest known sale hitting $1.8 million. Yep, that's right, people are paying millions for this small little coin. Can you imagine? You could probably buy a nice car with that, or better yet, treat yourself to a lavish vacation, but that's another story for later. But not all 1967 no mint mark pennies are going to bring that kind of cash. The condition matters. The better the condition, the higher the price tag. So, if you think you've got one of these coins sitting in your collection, don't just toss it aside. It might be time to get it professionally graded. That's the best way to find out just how much your penny is really worth. And hey, while we're on the topic of coin collecting, whether you're diving into rare coins or just having a little fun hunting down valuable pennies, there's always something new to learn. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a way to connect with history and, occasionally, stumble upon a small fortune. So, the big takeaway from today's video? If you have a 1967 no mint mark penny in your collection, don't just toss it into a jar like it's any other coin. That little penny might be worth way more than you ever thought possible. It's one of those rare finds that makes coin collecting so exciting, and if you want more tips, tricks, and strategies to spot valuable coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop because you never know, your next coin could be worth a fortune. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, wow, this could be worth a fortune? Well, brace yourselves, because today we're diving into a penny that could be worth a staggering $1.1 million. Yup, you heard that right. It's not a typo. You've probably seen it lying around in your change jar or stuck between the couch cushions, the 1985 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, how on earth can a tiny copper coin like this be worth more than your old Game Boy, your first car, or, let's be honest, your entire collection of old concert tickets? Stick around, because we're about to uncover why this seemingly ordinary penny is anything but. And by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pockets and coin jars like a pro, and maybe even rethinking your entire approach to collecting coins. Let's get started. Alright, let's break this down. The 1985 D Lincoln penny isn't just any old penny. It's a rare coin that could potentially sell for as much as $1.1 million in the right conditions. And, trust me, I know what you're thinking, there's no way my 1985 D penny is worth $1 million. Well, slow down there, my friend. While most 1985 D pennies are worth the standard 1 cent, a few special ones manage to slip through the cracks and become rare enough to fetch a small fortune. Here's where it gets interesting. The 1985 D penny is part of a group of coins known as error coins. These are pennies that have something unusual about them, a mistake during the minting process that makes them different from the standard coins. It could be an off-center strike, a doubled die, or a die crack. Now, before you start running around the house yelling, I found one, let me clarify, finding a 1985 D penny with an error that's worth $1.1 million isn't exactly a walk in the park. But it does happen, and that's what makes this coin so exciting. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, shout out to all the fellow coin nerds out there, and I stumbled upon this old lady selling a box of pennies. And there it was, a 1985 D penny, just sitting there, waiting for me to pick it up. Of course, I was so sure it wasn't worth anything special. After all, I wasn't expecting to hit the jackpot. But just for fun, I checked it out under a magnifying glass, and guess what? There was something off about it. It had this weird double strike effect. Now, I'm no expert, but it looked like the kind of error that could be worth something. So, I bought it for $1, yes, $1 whole, and did some research. Turns out, I could have sold it for way more if it had been in better condition, but it was still an exciting moment to realize that even the most normal-looking pennies can have a hidden value. Now, let's talk about how you can identify these rare pennies in your own collection. First, you'll want to look at the mint mark, that little D under Abraham Lincoln's memorial. If you've got a 1985 D, congratulations, you're halfway there. The next step is to check for errors. Look at the date carefully, is it doubled? Is there an extra bump somewhere? What about the lettering or Lincoln's portrait? Errors like a doubled die, where the image appears twice, can make your penny worth a fortune. Also, keep an eye out for off-center strikes, where the coin is stamped slightly askew. It might sound like a lot to look for, but once you start, it becomes second nature. Of course, the condition of the penny also matters. A penny in mint condition, without any scratches, stains, or signs of wear and tear, is going to fetch a higher price than one that looks like it's been through a washing machine. Collectors are after quality as much as rarity, so make sure your coin is in tip-top shape. But here's the fun part, you don't have to be a seasoned numismatist to get lucky and find one of these rare coins. Keep your eyes peeled while you're going through your spare change, or at your local coin shop. You never know when a 1985 D penny might pop up in front of you, waiting to make your day. So, what have we learned today? The 1985 D Lincoln penny isn't just a throwaway coin that you toss into your jar at the end of the day. It's a potential goldmine if you know what to look for. Whether it's a unique error, a minting flaw, or just a pristine example in the right condition, this humble penny could be worth a whole lot more than you thought. And now, I don't want to leave you hanging with just this one tip. There are tons of other coins out there just waiting to be discovered, and many of them are worth far more than face value. If you want to stay in the know and learn how to spot those hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of these coin tips and strategies that could help you turn your change jar into a small fortune. And hey, if you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin, or do you have any tips of your own? Let's get the conversation going. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, one penny could change your life.